Hey, 7th grade. This is your math lesson for Monday, April 27th. Lesson 159 is due on Monday, so if you are not yet finished with 159, you have no business watching this video. Please finish 159 and then you may watch it because there will be some answers from 159 on this video. One of the main reasons for sending the video out now is to remind you that test 16 is on Tuesday, and this will be a review for that test. So check it out. All right, let's look at lesson 159. First of all, some answers on lesson 159. So have 159, follow after quickly, carefully. Number 1, technically, you will never see 1 squared ever in a problem, I don't think, except in these books. So put that out there in case anybody who put these books together is watching. You can, there's nothing like 1 squared in math. I don't think you're not going to see that because it's just 1. So you're just going to have 1. And you don't even have 1 in algebra. You just have the stop. All right, it gets me worked up every time. I'm sorry. Number 1, in this order, if you started with the first one, 1 squared, it would be 1. Going in order, the next one, 2 squared, is 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144. That's all those numbers times themselves. 7 squared, 7 with a little 2 means 7 times 7, not 7 times 2. So get that out of your head. Doesn't mean 7 times 2, it means 7 times 7. Number 2 through 13, the square root. That symbol is square root. That means what number times itself equals 4. Number 2 is 4. Number 3, what number times itself equals 81? 9. And please just have the number. Do not have 9 times 9, just have the number. I said that on the last video. All right? If you do 9 times 9, it's going to be wrong on the lesson that I grade, whatever lesson that is. It's not this one, so don't worry about it on this one. But on future lessons, if you have the square root of 81 and you put 9 times 9, it's going to be wrong. The square root of 81 is simply 9. Number 4 is 8. Number 5 is 7. Number 6 is 11. Number 7 is 1. If you did that one, you could skip that one because, again, we don't do 1s in square roots. Number 8 is 10. Number 9 is 5. Number 10 is 12. Number 11 is 4. Number 12 is 6. Number 13 is 3. Number 14 through 21, there are tables on page 352, so you should have the answers from there. Number 22, worked 40 hours, $16.50 an hour. What was his total wage? $660. 22, $660. 23, how much did he make per week? Divide that total by 52 would give you $550. Number 26. Look at number 26. It will say draw a diagram and solve. You will not have to draw the diagram. You will simply have to solve it. Okay? If a wall casing that is 2 feet tall casts a shadow that is 8 feet long, how tall is a tree that casts it? So you're finding a missing number. Your diagram is actually 2 right angles, 2 right triangles, and then find the missing side. Your upright is your tree or your wall casing, and your bottom line, the bottom straight line, is the shadow. Find the missing number. 27, I put on the board. Hopefully you can see it. I put it under the map here, but hopefully you can see it to remind you how to solve these. Some of you are not getting these right, so let's do it. 0.72a equals 2 times, remember this is times, 2.52. Now what is the problem here? We do not like decimal points in these problems, so we need to get rid of the decimal point. What can you do to move this decimal point over here so that it disappears? Or to move this decimal point over here right here so that it disappears. What do you do to move decimal points around in numbers? You multiply by powers of 10. 10, 100, 1,000, whatever. All right? What do you multiply if you have 2 places after the decimal to make this 72 instead of 0.72? Multiply both sides by 100, tenths, hundredths. That moves your decimal point 2 places. So, go 100 times, don't forget, parentheses means times, 0.72a equals 100 times, you need to keep this 2 here. Okay, some of you are getting rid of, you're not doing that 2. You have to keep 2 there. 100 times 2 times 2.52. Okay, you see that? 100 times 0.72a equals 100 times, you left the 2, 2 times 2.52. Now what the times 100 does is moves the decimal point 2 places so that it's there. Now it's invisible. That's just 72a now, okay? The 100, and do the same thing here if you have a decimal point. If this were not a decimal point, then you would just multiply 100 to the 2, or 100 to this, okay? But since there's a decimal here, you can do the same thing. That gets rid of the decimal point. And now you have 252. So your next line I will put over here. Hopefully you can see. So you're done with it. That gets rid of the 100. Gets rid of the decimal point. So now you have 72a equals 2 times 252, right? So you have to solve, now you still have 72a equals, what is 252 times 2? 504, all right? Now divide those by 72, divide by 72, and you get what? What's 504 divided by 72? Should be 7. 504 divided by 72 is 7. That is right. So A equals 7 on that one. All right? I think that's the last one I was going to give you on that. This. And here is review for the test. It's not horribly complicated. You have 2 similar triangles. Find the missing side. Okay? So you'll have a triangle that has 3 sides, or 2 sides given, and then the other one only has 1 side. You can use proportion. You can figure it out in your head mostly to find the missing side. Draw a polygon. So you're talking about a polygon that represents, a tree 5 feet tall, or a tree 20 foot tall that casts a shadow that is however many feet tall. Okay? So you draw a right triangle. This is the shadow, and this is the tree, or whatever else it's talking about. And if it says, a 10-foot tree and a shadow that's 15 feet or whatever, that's how you do it. Simply drawing a right triangle. The upright line is the tree or whatever object is casting the shadow. The shadow is the straight line down here. All right? You will also have one where it says, if you have a tree that casts a 10-foot tree that makes a 15-foot shadow, and you have a 100-foot or a 50-foot silo, how long would that shadow be? It says to draw a diagram and solve. All I need you to do is solve. The diagram would simply be two right triangles like this: tree shadow, silo shadow. Okay. All I need you to do is solve that one. So there's one that you have to draw one right triangle like this, and the other one says draw and solve. All you need to do is solve. Yeah, we had it comes up in the side. Solve a scale drawing. That's when you have a rectangle or a square and you have to measure it, and you have a scale, every 1/8 inch equals so many feet or whatever it is. So what would the real dimensions be? So solve the scale drawing. You need to convert, and these are the exact ones that you need to convert, so know these numbers. You don't have to convert any other centimeter squared to meter squared. Find the lesson that talks about that. It's fairly recently, centimeter squared to meter squared, and hectares to kilometer squared. Know the relationship of those two to each other so that you can solve the problem. Interest and total owed. Okay? Solve the interest problem. You'll have to find the interest. So interest equals principal amount borrowed times time, how many years, times the interest rate, right? That will be your interest, but then you have to add that to the principal to get total owed. The important answer is total owed, not interest. Now you have to get the interest right or you won't get the total owed right. But the total owed is the final answer that they want. So if you have the interest, if you only have the interest and you have the interest right, but you don't add it to the principal, it will still be wrong. Okay? And that is basically the test. A couple of reading problems that you'll have to figure out, but basically that is what we're looking at. Have a great day, great weekend.